All these products, transitioning across your screen, have something in common. Unfortunately, they have a trail left behind them. It's a trail of quite literally blood, the sweat, and the tears of workers in countries such as Bangladesh, Cambodia, and China. Companies such as Nike and especially Apple have been abusing workers to the point where they're committing suicide on a regular basis. In 2010, there were 14 suicides in Foxconn factories. These factories produce Apple products. These workers have been subject to abuse and harm for many, many years, and now they are finally taking the toll. Nets were put up in Foxconn factories to stop people from committing suicide. Workers are sleeping on the job because they have 18-hour shifts. BBC Panorama interviewed a former worker to see what he thought about this issue.
He said, if you don't do what the company asks you to do, what is the point of employing you here? They said they needed to see my ID. When they got it, they didn't return it to me. I demanded that they return it. I felt helpless. Apple has been championing itself as a perfect enterprise, but it is all a facade.
In comparison to America, where the average worker gets $23 an hour and works 41 hours a week, the Chinese workers get $2 an hour and have to work 60 hours a week.
It's a story of big business, bumper sales and giant profits. Apple, makers of the iPhone and iPad, have reported the largest profits of any public company in history. It made an eye-popping £12 billion in just 3 months last year, between October and December.
During the iPhone's release, 34,000 were being sold each hour. That's phenomenal. Apple were breaking records and raising profits like never before. But nothing in China was changing. People are still being abused, still being harmed, and still being neglected. Apple was shining in the eyes of the consumer, but their so-called workers, i.e. slaves, were hidden from the eye of the consumer. Basically, consumer slaves. Unfortunately, this has only highlighted one problem out of many, such as sweatshops in Cambodia, and many, many more incidents, such as the Rana Plaza building collapse. But there's things that we can do. We can campaign, we can boycott, and we can shame companies that decide to treat their workers like nothing but machines. We need to stand up to Apple, Nike, and the factories behind them, and make sure that they treat their workers right. Otherwise, the products you hold in your hands today are nothing but blood trails. Thank you. Remember to follow us at Consumer Slaves on Twitter, Consumer Slaves on Facebook.